Hi guys, I thought I could do a follow-up to my super speed video because essentially showing the powers against the training dummies doesn't really work all that well. So I'm going to try to show the super speed's powers against actual NPCs instead. It should give a much better idea of what the powers actually do. And let's take a look at the loadout that I'm going to use. So essentially, I'm going to use Vortex Trap. Essentially, I'm using all the super speed powers. So I'm using Vortex Trap. I'm using Cyclone Push. I'm using a Metabolic Boost for my supercharge. Although I will try all three supercharges as I play. I will use Phase Dodge. I will use the Whirlwind Dervish, and I will use the Tornado Pull. So against NPC, we're going to because essentially when I use the Cyclone Push or the Tornado Pull against the training dummies, we couldn't really see what it was supposed to do. So let's try it right here with a few actual NPCs. So I got the mission. Let's show you the pull right away. Like as you can see, the pull works real well for the character. Let's pull, and the push also doesn't always work. I guess I gave it some immunities the first time I did it. So let's try. We'll try to pull the push against another NPC. Here's our little friendly imp. Let's push him away. Somehow it doesn't seems to work. The pull works fine though, as you saw. Let's try against another NPC. Okay, as you saw, the pull the push did work a bit. Let's try the face dodge and see what happens. It's kind of hard to actually see what face dodge actually did. So let's pull our love friend here. But as you can see, the pull works really well, and this is our breakout ability. So essentially, as you break out, you're pretty much spinning on yourself, and you're doing damage to pretty much every character, every NPCs around you, or every enemy NPCs, I should say. And if you do it properly, you will gain some power back also. Essentially, in order to gain some power back when you break out, you need to purchase those abilities like restraint recovery and knockback recovery and breakout masteries. These are what will allow you to get some power back when you break out. So let's try our pull ability again. So as you can see, the pull works real well. And let's try our first ability. Like this is what it does. Essentially, you're just spinning really quick around your enemy NPC, and you can see the elf go down a bit. As you can see, it uses a lot of your power, but it doesn't do all that much damage, sadly. So let's try and do the mission a bit. So you can use the Whirling Dervish even if you're not breaking out. You don't have to. And as you can see, it's pretty fun to spin around the enemies. It's a really speedster move. The only thing is that it uses a lot of power and it doesn't do that much damage. So it's what I would call a role play power. Like it's something you do to role play your character a bit, but it's not a very powerful move. So there's so many other powers that you can use that would be so much more useful than that. So it's going to take a while before we can use our supercharge. So let's try and find ourselves our third statue. So as you see, the push ability works fairly well. I'm not sure why I can't use. There we go. So as you can see, the pull works really well. That's why it's one of the powers that I use. Essentially, I usually use the pull ability and the whirlwind dervish to break out. Those are pretty much the main two speedster ability that I'll use most of the time. So let's pull our little friend over here. So you can see the pull and the push works somewhat well. I guess sometimes it doesn't work for reasons. And I can see spinning around the character, like running around the character, is a pretty fun thing to do. It does stun them a bit, but it's not all that powerful. But it's a perfect speedster move. Sadly, it's not one that there's so many other moves that you could use that are more powerful than that. That it's very easy to understand if most people probably don't use it. So let's finish off those little fellas here. And let's go fight our succubus. And let's summon our friends. And let's use our super. Oh, not the wrong one. Let's use our supercharge and try and get some power back. So as you saw, the supercharge didn't give us all that much power, sadly. So I will change my loadout a bit. I will try and select the other supercharge, but I guess I'll do that a bit. Let's get out of here first. Sometimes when you want to skip enemies, you pretty much end up looking like a human jumping bean. It happens. So for our loadout, so essentially we use the metabolic boost for this one. Let's use let's use the dash attack next. And let's select. Next, we're going to do the NV missions. So let us go. So as any movement mode, in order to go into super hyper speed, what's it called, the speed force move, you have to press on L3. So you have some sort of double jump, as you saw, where you'll have like lightning that appears underneath your character. I'm not sure what that lightning does, or if it does anything, or is just a nice visual effect, but one of the things with super speed, it's fairly easy to escape from enemies. So usually you just keep on running around and jumping a bit, and you should be able to escape most enemies because they're going to have a hard time chasing after you and attacking you. Essentially, they have to attack you to slow you down. But when they attack you, it slows them down too. So they're going to have a hard time jumping forward and attacking you. So as you can see, again, the pull works really well. Uh, well, let's kick our little friend because it's very satisfying. So let's try to pull again, but this time I'm going to try to push also. You see the push works seems to work also fairly well. Of course, there's going to be enemies against which those moves will not really work. But here they seems to work pretty well. There are times when enemies will gain immunities to certain crowd control effects. So for those times, yeah, the push and pull probably will not work all that well. So essentially, we need to collect energies from imps. But I will. I have a spot where I usually go for that. Essentially, I go over here and I wait for them. Or I'll travel a bit around here to try and spot the imps. Like you can see, the imp is coming, but he doesn't have the energy yet. So let's wait for him to go back, gather the energy, and then here's one that has energy. So again, if you see, as you saw, the pull works really well in pulling just that one little guy away from all the other enemies. And of course, we have to end up kicking him, of course. So let's try and find our other friend before. Sometimes you'll see me use the pull for no reason. Essentially, it's just to get the attack bonus you get from using a power. That's probably one thing I didn't quite explain the other day. Like essentially, when you look at your super speed powers, you'll see that they'll give a 40% extra damage, 40% extra damage on their damage roll, 40%. They seem to be all a 40% extra damage. Others, this one is 50%. So they're pretty much all 40%, except the one that's 50%. Although once you have the max damage mod, which gives you 60%, 40, 50, no longer matters. So you saw there's a little imp here, but he doesn't have the energy yet, so we're going to wait a bit for him. No, I attacked him 1 second too early. I guess I got a little too excited. So there's our friend coming back.
No sinful energy will mean beatings.
So essentially, once we move to the second part of this quest, I'll show you what the supercharge does. You'll see it's not bad, but it's not very powerful. Or I should say, it's not bad, but there's more superchargers that are much more useful than that. So I wouldn't really use that supercharge. So we only need two more. Let's see if we can have another one here. Geez, those guys with the orbs usually aren't all that over here, but I guess it happens. I guess they spill over sometimes to other areas. So let's see if there's one coming this way. Oh yeah, there's one coming. Essentially, I'm trying not to attract the other demons. So I'm gonna have two at once, it seems. No! I wasn't able to stop him before he released his energy. Oh, it happens. So as you can see, pulling them and pushing them can be pretty fun, and then running around it. But sadly, it burns up a lot of power, so you can't do it as much as you would like to. You can spam it too much. If you spam it too much, you'll pretty much burn your power bar. So let's wait for our last one. There he is. So let's wait for him to come back and gather the power. And this time we'll be a bit more patient and we'll wait for him to actually finish getting the power. Oh, there's another one right there. Well, that's okay. So this would give us our 50% extra attack if we didn't have the max damage mod. But now with the max damage mod, every attack we have gives us 60%. Okay, so now we're done with that little fella. So let's use the supercharge on those two little friend here. So as you saw, we barely made a dent in their health using the supercharge. So let's try it once more just to show properly what it does. So essentially what happens is that we end up charging the enemies, they end up falling down. But as you saw, they got very, very little damage from it. So as a damage power, it's not really that useful. It's nice to knock them down, but there's so many abilities that do that, do you really need a supercharge to do that? So it's really not. I recommend using that supercharge. Oh, and here I completely missed my target somehow. And as you can see, like the white numbers, it's preventing some damage. The supercharge does that also. It doesn't just allows you to do extra damage. It also prevents you from getting damage. But again, there's so many powers that do something similar that I'm not sure I would really ever go for that supercharge. So I will switch my supercharge for the other one we didn't use yet. So we used the dash attack, we used the metabolic boost. So the next one will be speed drain. I guess playing solo, I would suggest maybe metabolic boost, and in a group, I would maybe suggest a speed drain. But I guess either is more or less fine. So let's try and find ourselves a little demon. Sometimes he does go outside of the area he's supposed to be. Oh, there he is. Again, as you saw, the pull does a really good job pulling him. Let's summon our friends. Let's run around him. Like you can see that kind of works a bit to stun him. But not sure I would really use that power all that much. It is a fun power to use, but and the Whirling Dervish, we didn't see that happen yet. But sometimes, as you use it, if your enemies block while you're using that ability, they will knock you down again. So it's a nice breakout move, which sadly can make you get knocked down right after, or right while you're using it. So it's a mixed bag. And sadly, we didn't get the chance to use the supercharge yet, but we will with the next mission. So we're going to go do the Wrath mission. You will see a lot of weird things as you're running with your speedster and as you're jumping through obstacles. So either you'll find it very fun when you see that happens, or you'll find it very annoying.
In an effort to garner more wrath energy, Jared's followers are pushing their victims beyond their emotional breaking points. Find them and help them before they become as berserk as everyone else.
I'm starting to think to maybe add this move back to my loadout. As you can see, it's not very powerful, but it is a fun move, and I didn't realize I missed using it. Not sure which electric power I'll take out to make room for it. We'll see. So the supercharge sadly is a 50% supercharge. So as you can see, it takes a while before you can use it even once. Oh, that's not good. And yeah, I cheated by giving end blasters to our friend Flash Fury. Essentially, they established in the new Flash TV show that the Flash can throw lightning, so that's pretty much what I'm using as an excuse to justify using the end blasters. So this is more or less like the Flash throwing lightning, even though the lightning powers would already be that. What the heck? I have a few other characters that use brawling, so I didn't really need this character to be a brawling one specifically. So let's see. So as you can see, you don't have to wait to be knocked back to use the Whirlwind Dervish ability. You can decide to use it in battle to knock down enemies. So it usually does a good job at knocking down some enemies and even doing some damage. And the little bugger is attacking us, it seems. So let's get rid of him. I'll teach us to save him. So let's pull this one. So as you can see again, you can knock down multiple enemies, and that was the supercharge that I used up a bit by accident. So you can see it's giving us power back, and it should be giving us health too, I think, but I guess not. It's maybe just power. So let's save our little friend here. And let's save this one too.
I demand you free me.
You handled that situation well. There's a greater demon in charge of the cages.
So I don't think we're going to be able to use the supercharge again, but just to be sure, like essentially this is, as you can see, a 50% supercharge. This one also, metabolic boost, is also a 50% supercharge. And the only one, dash attack is the only one that's 25% supercharge. So you can use dash attack a bit more, but I don't find it quite as useful as a speed drain or a metabolic boost. So as you can see, metabolic boost is is a power you can use while controlled. So you can be knocked back and use it to sort of break out, and it would give you health, power, and protect you from control effect. As opposed to speed drain, will give you back, will do some damage over time, and restore some power to you and your allies. So okay, this one only gives back power, but it gives back power to you and all your friends. So that's a bit better. So I guess for solo play, I would probably go with a metabolic boost, and for group play, I would go with the one I'm using right now. So let's go finish off our friendly. Where is it? Oh, there he is. So let's see if we can pull the. We can. So as you can see, the pull ability does the trick, and even this one, although he did break out pretty quick, but still he did need to break out, so that's something. So as you see, sometimes it stuns him and he has to break out. Sometimes not so much. And he does stun us quite a bit himself.
That should slow down their
And
operation.
there we go.
Head back to the
So
garrison.
let's go see our friend Wonder Woman and tell her we did defeat a lot of demons and cultists and all that good stuff. Sadly, if you want to look up to see where you're going, it's a bit difficult with all the lightning effects, but it's a small price to pay. Now let's see if we'll go. Oh, yeah, we did go all the way to the top. Sometimes you get caught in a crack or something. So let's talk to our friend Wonder Woman.
Progress against envy, but there's more work to be done. We can't let the Suns or Circe
So that was a pretty long flash fact, but hopefully it gives you a good idea of what the various speed powers actually do. So next time I'll probably do well, maybe not next time, but in the future I'll probably do a more detailed explanation of the electric powers. We'll see how that goes. I'll probably do a DPS video and then a healer video to keep things separate. We'll see. So that was Flash Fact for today. So hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.